Hi, hello, quick Friday video today, just a quick one. I thought maybe we would go through my piercing journey. No, I did not enlarge my ears. I took you can barely tell in here, hold on. I took these big foam earrings that were given to me in the P.O. box that one time, and I recreated my own piercings onto these ears, which, like, kind of amazing. If you took my ears, ripped them off my head, put them together on a headband, and was like, that's what they look like. That's nuts. Obviously, the sizing is wrong. The proportions of the earrings to the ears themselves are very small because these are regular earrings on, like, ears 7 times the size of mine. But it's fun to recreate your piercings on something. Someone in the Q&A videos, I think, asked me about my favorite piercings or something about the piercings, and I was like, did I not put out a video that one time talking about all my piercings and, like, the stories behind them? And someone was like, no. I definitely filmed that, never put it out, because I've sat down before and tried to figure out the timeline of everything. It's a little fuzzy. The sun's peeking through this window. Also, it's so hard to get, like, good footage of your own ears, if you want to look at that. But yeah, let's go through it. How many do I have? I was counting yesterday and I was like, there's no way. I thought I was one off. I have the singles, the doubles. On my right ear, I have 3 cartilage piercings. Then I have a conch done and Rook done. Now, the names that I'm calling the piercings, I feel like there's a little bit of leeway of what everyone calls them. I'm going off this chart that I found. And then on my left ear, I have singles, doubles, 2 cartilage piercings. This one I found out it's called like a flat. Like, I have no idea about that one. And then I have my tragus done on this side. 13 in my ears, and then a nose ring, which is 14. I thought I always had 13. That really blew my mind yesterday. I was like, what? When did I get another one? But I think 7, 6, 1 on the nose. I kind of try and keep my ears like even number of piercings. I just like even numbers. I discovered in the timeline that I have not gotten a piercing done in 3 years. So I feel like we need to go get one done. That needs to change. Okay, looking at my ears. The first piercing I ever got done was my cartilage piercing. I think it was this one because it's so wonky. Yeah, it is. Was my left top cartilage piercing. It had to be done when I was in high school. I don't think I started piercing my ears till high school. I went to the mall by my house and we went into the icing store. Claire's and Icing are like sister stores, and they used a gun. I don't think ever since then I've ever gotten a piercing done with a gun. I believe that piercing should be done with a needle and you should go to like a tattoo shop. The more I think about the guns with the needle and they puncture it and then they put the jewelry in at the same time. But they're so inaccurate. And I always heard, I don't know if it's true, but it honestly scared me away that like when they do the gun, because there's so much like crazy trauma done to the ear so fast because you're like puncturing it like that. I heard that sometimes you can get like nerve damage from that. I don't know if that's true, but my first one was a cartilage. And you can tell it's my worst piercing done because the placement is off. It's not like in the fold of the ear. It's kind of farther in. After I got all my other cartilage piercings done, I was like, the placement on this one is trash. It's garbage. When I get the rings to put in, sometimes I'm like, yeah, this ring always fits a little more snug because they probably couldn't get the gun in the fold of my ear. And I remember I just had a cartilage piercing and that's it. My brother was like, you look like a pirate. And I was like, oh, I look like a pirate. I loved cartilage piercings on other people. I loved the thought of like having like all the little tiny rings. I think I have nice ears for it. I have the nice like fold in my ears so the rings sit nicely. Then after that, sometime also in high school, I got my singles and my doubles done. The singles, doubles. Have I ever thought about getting the triples done? No, but honestly, it would fill up some of the ear. We'll talk about what I want to get pierced still later. My only problems with the singles and the doubles earrings is that those are the earrings I lose the most. They fall out all the time. They just bug me. I feel like I'm always constantly adjusting my singles and doubles. So would I ever get my triples done? I would for the look. But my gosh, I don't know. I have my notes up here. There's a picture of me like in July of 2013. That's like I was already in college. I was a freshman in college. And I had my singles and doubles done. And I had at least 2 cartilage piercings. They're a little hard on the timeline. I really got to put the puzzle pieces of my life back together. Then when I was in college, I started doing this thing where every single spring, summer, at the end of me finishing a year of college, I would go and get piercings. It was kind of just like a fun thing to do because like another year of college down. That's what I told myself. I was like, I'll just always go get my piercings done in May because it's around my birthday, May 12th. And then also like got through sophomore year of college. Let me go get a piercing done. That was my forethought. I've gotten piercings done with like my roommates. And then I had this friend, Kristen. I knew her from when I worked at a restaurant. We would go a couple towns over. It would be this little tattoo shop. And you would walk in and they would have the best music playing. Like good pop music. The guy that would do the piercings, he also does tattoos. His name was Tatman. He was bald. He had tattoos of spiders and spider webs all over his head. And then on the back of his head, by his neck, he had a barcode tattoo that said, made in vagina. I kid you not, it feels like a fever dream that that's true, but I would keep going back to him and getting piercings year after year, and I was like, yes, yes. He was such a nice guy. They had such good music, very good professional. I've loved all the piercings he's ever done. Every single piercing I've ever had, I've kept in. I've never taken one out and let it close up. I kind of take pride in, like, once I get it pierced, it stays. Next to that tattoo place, there's a bar that me and Kristen discovered. I think they had, like, Wacky Wednesday piercings. That's when they would be cheaper. So we would go on Wednesdays. And then the bar next door had a deal where on Wednesdays they would do this kick the keg thing. So people could go in after, like, 4 p.m. and you could just get free pitchers of beer until the keg was kicked. So it was always, like, Miller Lite. Go get, like, piercings, and then we would go next door and, like, grab beers, like a pitcher of beer. It was very fun. I remember the one time, like, by the time that we got in there was only one pitcher of beer left and we got it. And then a bunch of, like, old grown men came in from golfing and was like, oh, kick the keg, we're here to get beer. And the bartender was like, they got the last pitcher. Clearly it was like everyone was a regular, and then it was like just 2 random girls with red little ears because I just got a needle put through them. And they're like, who are you? What do you mean they got the last pitcher? Fun times. Okay, in May of 2014, so this would have been like the end of my freshman year. School's ending, birthday, end of school, yada, yada, yada. Go get something pierced. I had my Rook done. And the Rook is like this one to me. The one that goes through like the good chunk of your ear right here. So I must have gotten a Rook done and a cartilage done by him. Like sometimes I would go and knock out 2 at a time. Yeah, I honestly love the Rook piercing probably the most. I love it on other people. I love it on me. It's a bar that goes through the top and then comes out the bottom. I love that you can see the ends of it, but not the middle. I love how snug it fits in my ear. It's the worst one to change. My goodness, I have fat fingers. It's so hard to get in that little crevice of my ear because it's a post and then the little ends twist on. And I don't think I've changed this one out in like 3-ish years, probably 2-3 years. It's like all of my stuff is silver and it's the only one that's rainbow. I thought for the longest time it was silver. Like I just wasn't like looking far enough in a mirror to see it, but it's rainbow. Loved that one. In May of 2015, so another year goes by. I must be a junior in college. Must have been. No. Sophomore in college. I had my nose pierced before my birthday and my tragus. The one that goes through like the flap over here. Oh, it's on this side. The one that goes through like the flap right here. I just have a hoop on it right now. I always think that the hoop I have in is too big. I'm trying to think. I think at the beginning they always pierce everything with a stud and then you could go and put hoops in because you want the piercing in the hole to heal like with a straight post and then you can go put your hoops in. I can't remember if they pierced it with a hoop though. I don't know what I like better. I don't know if I've ever had the post put in. I might have. The tragus piercing is the one that I worry about the most. I always think I'm going to get it caught on something or I'm going to accidentally rip it out because the cartilage ones fit snug on the curve of your ear. This one always kind of sticks out to me. I don't know if it's too big or whatever, but I've never had a problem with it. Knock on wood. Okay? There's so many ways that one could get ripped out. And just right now, knock on wood, thankfully that hasn't happened. I heard that one is also good if you have a lot of migraines. Isn't there like a thing about if you have migraines or like it's a pressure point, a stress point, if you get that pierced sometimes it could relieve some of that. I just get them done because I like the way they look and I wanted to try something new besides the cartilage and everything. And my nose. I'll put in the videos if I have them. When I would have my friends take videos of me getting piercings done, I always look so bored. I try and like zone out, look at something, totally like relax my body and just kind of like stare off into the distance. Because I do not think piercings hurt at all. If anything, it's like a slight like pressure. It doesn't really cross my mind at all. I think I was worried about the tragus and the conch the most because I was like, oh, I don't want the tragus to like pop up a thing and then I can't hear. Like all like these weird wacky thoughts. I thought that one would hurt a lot. Playing with it right now. The conch one I thought would be like a scary one. None of them hurt. You can kind of see in these videos that Tatman has the spider tattoos. I think maybe the nose one hurt the most. Only because maybe I could like see him doing it and I was like, oh, we're doing it. Oh, the needle. And then I went to Ireland. Just ending my sophomore year of college. I just turned 20 and I was going to Ireland. For 2 weeks. It's for a study abroad trip for like an English class. It was the best trip of my life. I always talk about it. It was a fantastic time. Towards the end of the trip, we did 1 week in the countryside of Ballyvaughan and then we did another week in Dublin. By the end of the week in Dublin, some of the girls were getting tattoos done of like 4-leaf clovers. My old roommate Shay got a tattoo done. I'm not ready for a tattoo. I can't make that decision off the fly like within the next 10 minutes. I was like, let's get a piercing done. So we were walking around Dublin and we walk into this tattoo place. Kid you not. This is what I remember. And then I'll go get my journal from my Ireland trip and I'll read it to you because they made us journal on this trip because it was an English class. I remember like the buildings were very pretty there in Dublin in the city. And we were like I remember us like being like by a river, like by water going through the city. And then if you looked over here, there was this big, long shop. And it was a tattoo place, a piercer place, a barber shop, a music shop, and a coffee shop. It was all 5 things in one. Because all of us were like, you can do everything in here. You can go get your iced latte, then check out a book, then get a haircut, then get something pierced, and then get your little tat. It was amazing. I was in awe. I was like, let me get my conch pierced. I call it a conch. Other people call it an orbital. I think when I was looking on that chart, an orbital. I thought it was like on the outside rim of your ear, right here. Like a very low cartilage piercing, I guess is how you could say it. When I walk into the guy doing the piercings, I can't remember if it was like the resident piercer, is that their names? Piercer that worked there? Or it was this intern? No, I think it was the piercer guy. He's like, oh, I have like someone interning. He's going to do your piercing if that's okay with you. I was like, fine. If you guys show me the placement and we do that, that's fine. He's like, what do you want done? I said, a conch piercing. They take that marker and they kind of show you where it's going to be. They put the dot in there and they stuck it like in the middle of my ear, in the middle of nowhere's land. And I was like, oh, is that a conch piercing? And he's like, yeah, that's probably the right placement. And I'm like, okay, cool, do it. Now, mind you, I skipped over what this man looked like. This man was covered in tattoos. Covered. His eyelids were tattooed. And a lot of just like dark work. Not like the Post Malone words. It was like a lot of like dark shading filled in. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't think you would ever talk to me in real life, sir. I look like some bubbly girl from the US. But the fact that I have to get this piercing done, it's like bringing our 2 worlds together. Because I looked as I was getting the piercing done, there was articles of him on the wall. I remember there being articles of being like the most tatted man in Ireland, or like some people had written articles about his tattoos. Like that's how covered he was, head to toe. Nuts. Nutso. So then they pierced my ear and they put this big bar in. And I was like, oh, I thought it would be like a nice little stud. Or I thought the bar would be a little more snug. No, they put this huge bar in. I don't have like a dud. I don't have a stud or a diamond. It's just like a barbell. They're like, oh, do you like it? And I was like, I don't think that that's what I thought the piercing was going to be or was going to look like or the placement or how like big the bar is. This one like sticks out behind the back of my ear. It's so hard to show you guys. This one sticks out the back. Like pretty far. And you know what? I love that piercing. As soon as you got used to it and it healed, oh my. You know, once you had piercings for so long, you like do not notice them. Except for my stupid cartilage piercings, I constantly get them stuck on like fuzzy pillows and I'm like, ow, ow, and I have to like unhook myself from fabric. I just think the whole thing was wacky. I love thinking of the fact that my professor made, Margarita was her name, she made all of us write in these journals, and then she's probably looking at all these girls' journals on the last day, because it was like the day before we left. Me and a couple other people had like fresh piercings on the flight home. I think it was 2 flights home, and like it was hard to put the headphones on to listen to music and distract yourself on the flight, because like, the piercings were fresh. I just imagine my professor reading everyone's journal and being like, oh my god, these girls came back with piercings and tattoos. Their parents are gonna kill me. So on day 12, I think we go to the jail. We went to like a jail in Ireland. A lot of people went to the Guinness Museum. It says we went to the jail, but had to walk a shit ton. By this point of the trip, my legs are chafing. I'm hungover, sick. I'm hungover. We were partying, super tired, and I got my period that day, so I was feeling great. The jail was cool as fuck though, and then we had to walk all the way back, which was torture. I remember we like got lost in Ireland outside of Dublin looking for like this famous jail. Then we did some shopping at the Burke's Stove. If anybody's from Ireland and can help me with some of this translation of stuff. And we went to that Dublin Vintage Factory, the one under the street. So like there was like a sub-level, we're walking on the street, there's like a sub-level shop, and it was like this vintage store, and I bought a windbreaker from Ireland. At the time I was like collecting windbreakers. It was amazing. And then Caitlin and I got piercings. Caitlin was a girl on my trip. Her rook and my conch. I said the guy, piercer, was covered in tats, even his eyelids, and I just let him do this thing and pierce whatever. I didn't even look at the placement. Oops, sorry, Mom. No, I think I did look at the placement like quickly. But it all worked out though. Barbershop, tattoo, piercing place, music shop, coffee shop. Okay, and then I wrote down it's called the Ink Factory, and I tried to look it up like the Dublin Ink Factory piercing. I think I found it, but it was so long ago. I mean, it was in 2000, it was 9 years ago. Obviously, I couldn't find the guy that worked there. The website looks like nice and updated. I don't know if it is what it is anymore, but back then it was all those things. Then we went back and got ready for the Celtic dance and traditional meal night with everyone. In May of 2017, So it looks like there was a gap of a year where I didn't go get anything pierced. I don't know. I'm going off my old Instagram timeline. Right before my birthday, I got my last cartilage piercing done. Honestly, thinking about it now, I don't know which side. There's 5 of them done. The first one was over here. I probably went like boom, 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 boom. The cartilage piercings are something I just throw in when I'm getting something pierced. I'm like, oh, and then do cartilage. Huh? May 2017 was when I was supposed to graduate college. It was my senior year. But then I ended up staying another semester because I graduated in the winter. The last piercing I've ever gotten done was on camera, was on the YouTube channel. It was in February of 2021. It was in a video called Instagram Followers Control My Life for a Day. I basically went and got it done in like a snowstorm. It was like, you guys could pick between if I get a tattoo or a piercing. Everyone picked tattoo. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go get a piercing. I think I planned the whole video around the idea if I was going to go get a piercing anyways. But I also think back in the time, it might have been like a little bit of a milestone for me. I think maybe the channel had gotten like 50,000 subscribers, or it was 100,000 subscribers. I know like one of those milestones happened near I got that piercing done. So I think I kind of dedicated that one to be like, oh, like the channel is doing well and growing. I'm gonna go get a piercing done. And it's for a video. I got my top right cartilage pierce. That was the last one I ever got done. All right, the only one I'm missing from my timeline is either there's a cartilage one missing from my timeline, which I probably just doubled up on, or it's my flat. I didn't even know that that's what this was called. This one, it's not a cartilage piercing. It's in like the more of the middle of my ear. It's like the upper conch almost. I don't know when I got this pierced. It is one of the more random. It's the only piercing I have that has a flat back on it. And besides, so there's different types of earring backs. If you have earrings, you know. There's like the butterfly clip ones, I forget what they're called, or the flat backs, or you could screw them in, or like all my hoop earrings are twists. It's not a continuous hoop. There's a little thing, I just twist them, put it in, and I twist them back, and I line them up. I don't know when I got this damn piercing done. The stud I have in there right now, that diamond, is like super fat, I think. I could get a like, at least half the size of that diamond put in. I'm going to think about changing it out. In honor of this video, I should change out a lot of the piercings and see what happens. I am already seeing a lot of like infections in my future. The irritation might be too much. So yeah, that's basically the timeline of all my piercings. Things I've always wanted to get pierced, but either have never pulled the trigger, or I like the idea of them, or I like them on other people. Eyebrow. I've always wanted like an eyebrow piercing, the bar right through there. But one, I never shape my eyebrows or like really fill them in. I don't need to draw more attention to my eyebrow. But I like eyebrow piercings. I feel like a lot of people don't have them done nowadays. I like them. The industrial bars that run through like the top of the cartilage, like the front force-facing cartilage to the back. I wanted that done for the longest time, but there's 3 things. One, I heard that people were getting nerve damage, and if you don't have the right size bar put through the middle, and you're like squeezing your ear to fit it at the size of the bar, you could have like nerve damage, or like your ear starts like getting misshapen. Didn't want that. Also, the fact that the piercing, besides going through like the back of the ear, goes through kind of the side. I didn't really like how that looked on my ears. And then 3, I thought the placement of that one wouldn't allow me to have a lot of other piercings done that I already had done. I really don't see a lot of people have those anymore either. A lip ring. Oh my gosh. My friend in high school, Haley, had, I think, at least the snake bites done. Love a good lip piercing. I feel like a lot of people have irritation around them, but they're fun. Tom DeLonge in Blink-182, when he had a lip piercing, my goodness. If you didn't think he was cute already, the lip ring was so cute. And then I've always wanted to get a second nose ring done. I think about it all the time. Either getting a matching nose ring on the other side, or just to get the second one next to my nose. I love my nose piercing so much. I love it. I think it looks great on me. Okay. I had the studs in for the longest time. I had the corkscrew studs. They would always fall out. They were annoying. You could always see the metal parts sticking out my nostril. Hated them. As soon as I could move to the nose ring, did it. Never looked back. I used to have a black nose ring. I think the first time I came home with my nose pierced, I had a black nose ring in, and it was not like a nice black piece of metal or whatever that is. It was like a chunky Claire's black rubber coating that you could like strip. It's like when you like strip wires to like plug them in. It had like a weird rubbery coating on it. I remember coming home and my mom was like, "What the hell's in your face? You got your nose pierced?" And then I remember my grandma being like, "What is that on your face? What is that? What you got dirt on your face?" And I loved it. I was like, every single time I came back, I had more piercings. My family was like, "What? Why so many piercings?" I love them. And I was like, if I get another ring right here and then I want it to close up, you'll be able to see that it was pierced at one point. Does it matter? No. Is anyone ever going to call me out on it? No. I'd punch him in the face. I'd be like, "Oh, you're concerned about my second nose piercing that I let it close up? Huh? What? Oh, my hand, it's turning into a fist. Look at that. So punchable right now, you are." It sounds like a Yoda saying, "So punchable right now you are." Never really had an infection in any of my piercings, except a couple of the cartilage piercings. I did have like a couple keloids. Are they called keloids or keloids? Or what was the other word I found? I don't know what they're called. It's like when you get that scar tissue on the back of your ear on the piercings. I don't remember how I got rid of it. I don't remember if it's like you just keep soaking it and sometimes they go away, sometimes they're permanent. I had a couple of those on my cartilage piercings. That's the only ever like complications I've ever had with them, knock on wood. When I played rugby, I used to have to tape my whole ears up and wear a scrum cap to protect the earrings, and protect my head and my skull and my brain. I also would put like fishing line through my nose piercing so it wouldn't close up. Just fishing line. Everyone did that. So I would say my favorite piercing is my Rook, whatever it's called. I already forgot. The Rook. I love all the rings in my cartilage. The conch one is like the most unexpected one that I love. I worry about the tragus the most. The most annoying piercings I have are my singles and doubles because I fall it all the time and I always lose the studs. I don't wear hundreds of dollars worth of jewelry. It's all pretty cheap. I go silver everything. I'm a silver jewelry girly. I always just try and do like they're like the cubic zirconium, little diamond studs. They're both for the singles and doubles. I try and do a big one and then a small one. Where do I get all my jewelry from? Every single year for Christmas, I ask. Kohl's has the cubic zirconium jewelry sets where it's like, I like the square diamonds. They come in 5 different sizes. They always go on sale. They're like $20. So I try and get like whole new sets of earrings once a year for the singles and doubles. Everything else, for a long time, I had to keep buying jewelry for all the other piercings to test it out and make sure it fits. I get a lot of it on eBay. eBay sells a lot of the twist rings that I like. They all cost like $1. You get them in like all the different sizes. You just got to look around for them. Like I said at the beginning, if you want to go get piercings done, I recommend it. I recommend doing your research, thinking about your pain tolerance, and I would suggest highly to go get it done at a tattoo shop that does piercings. Go and check it out, see some of their work. Look online. A lot of times they post pictures online of like all the piercings that they've done. Personally, strongly suggest from my 13 different piercings that were done with a needle to go get it done by a needle. Usually when it's a professional doing it, should not be a problem. They should be able to do it fast enough and clean enough that the needle is not the problem. I think the guns are dumb. The needle is more accurate, and if it's done by a guy covered in tattoos who plays good music and is nice to me and does wacky Wednesday piercings, yes, I love a good fun experience. And since I'm not getting tattoos left and right, I really don't find myself in tattoo shops very often. So when I go get piercings done, it's like, oh, I'm going to a tattoo shop today, and they're like, what are you getting tattooed? I'm like, I'm gonna get a hole in my ear. But yeah, that's my little jewelry journey. Thanks for watching. Comment down below the piercings you have or crazy piercing stories or the good, the bad, the ugly. A piercing fail story. A bunch of us did go one time in college to go get my friend's nose pierced. The girl like doing the piercing, she seemed like she was off, like maybe she was drunk. It was weird. She like took all the supplies because it's supposed to be very like you wear gloves and everything's like you take a fresh needle out of a bag and you place it on the tray and everything's sanitized. She like dropped the stuff in the middle of it and then just like put it back on the tray and was like whoops, and then continued to do the piercing, and she messed up the placement of the nose piercing. Her nose was a little more particular where it was like obviously the piercing should go in the natural curve of the nose. She put it like 2 centimeters off, and as soon as she got it pierced, all of us were like, it's off. Like, no offense, but it like looks weird. So again, if anything is ever same thing that rules of tattoos apply, I'm sure. If anything is ever sketchy, or you don't like the placement, or the person's being weird, or the situation is weird, or you're second guessing, if everything is clean and sanitized, walk away. Walk away, leave. You could get it done somewhere else. There is always going to be a better place to get it done. Wow! She ended up taking it out. I don't know if it got infected or whatever, but she took it out, and I think she eventually did get the right placement. But, I'm thankful for the tatted man in Ireland and spider tat man in Wisconsin. If my ears were this big, you better believe I'd have a lot more piercings. There's a lot more space we gotta fill up. Remember back in the old days, I think when my mom used to get piercings done, they would do numb your earlobe with the ice cube and then they would pierce the needle through a potato. Could it be me? No, I like how they do it nowadays. With the gloves and good music in the background and, nice jewelry. Not a damn needle into a potato. A little potassium in the back of your ear for healing. Yeah. Let's just say that I have enough piercings that if someone was like, okay, we got to go through this machine where it'll detect any body jewelry, you got to take everything out, it would just be like a pile. I'm gonna need a baggie to put these in. It's 14 little pieces of metal jingling around like change. And I'm gonna need 10 minutes, 2 pairs of pliers, and a damn good mirror to get all this back in by myself.